This is macOS Ken.
What Apple's most expensive phones cost Apple, an Apple supplier plans expansion in India, and Apple issues many minor OS updates. It is Tuesday, the 14th of February, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. In praise of Apple's business acumen, Counterpoint Research has published an estimated bill of materials for iPhone 14 Pro Max. You will no doubt be surprised to find making one costs Apple significantly less than buying one cost you. Cult of Mac has written up the Counterpoint findings. According to that, pieces and parts for a 128GB iPhone 14 Pro Max cost Apple about $464. That is about 3.5% more than a comparable 13 Pro Max from the last cycle, but way lower than the $1,099 the device would run the average John or Jane. Running down parts and pieces. The most expensive bits are the A16 processor and the 6.1-inch always-on display. Each of those account for about 20% of the total bill of materials. Prices for cellular connectivity account for 13%. The camera accounts for 11%. Then there is the other category, making up 36%. Cult of Mac says that category includes the casing, the battery, the storage, the Taptic engine, and, well, other stuff. So what? The rest is gravy for Apple? No, of course not. Not included in the bill of materials are assembly costs, marketing, research and development, software, and likely so much other stuff that would never occur to us mere mortals. Not that they're running at break-even either. Last quarter, the one where the company didn't have nearly enough iPhones to go around. During the fourth quarter of 2022, Cult of Mac has Counterpoint pointing out that Apple took in 48% of the revenue of the entire smartphone market and made 85% of the total profit. Imagine if they had enough. While Apple is fond of saying that iPhone is made everywhere seems to be converging on India. Apple Insider says Finnish Apple supplier Solcomp is looking to significantly grow its presence on the subcontinent. According to the report, Solcomp makes chargers as well as parts for smartphones. It's already got a plant in Chennai, employing about 12,000 people, but that number could more than double in the next 3 years. Sasikumar Gendam, managing director of Solcomp Manufacturing India, says the move is being driven by various issues with China. Those include the years of tension between China and the U.S., as well as the difficulties tied to COVID-19 lockdowns. According to the exec, the whole supply chain is now kind of looking at an alternative. India is poised to be one of the best alternatives. Everyone knows that the whole world has been depending on this one nation, China, over the last few decades, and it's time to really diversify and decluster. Though the piece includes no comments from Apple, Solcomp's Gendam says his company holds a significant role in Apple's supply chain. To that end, they are making a significant investment in the region. Under Solcomp's plans, the piece says, the firm will be setting up a housing complex for approximately 15,000 people, one that will include entertainment and education facilities for the workers. It'll also include a chance to make more scratch for Solcomp. Apple Insider has Solcomp Manufacturing India expecting revenue to grow from today's $500 million to the $1 billion level within years. A slew of small but mighty updates from Apple to start the week. We will start with the updates for iOS and iPadOS. For iOS 16.3.1, a piece from Mac Rumors has Apple saying the update provides important bug fixes and security updates for your iPhone, including iCloud settings may be unresponsive or incorrectly display if apps are using iCloud. Siri requests for Find My may not work, and crash detection optimizations on iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Pro models. The crash detection optimizations will undoubtedly be welcomed by emergency services in ski country. First responders in parts of the U.S. and other snowy patches on the planet have been burdened with erroneous crash calls from devices on people who have not crashed, but are in fact skiing or snowmobiling. As for iPadOS 16.3.1, it does the same stuff the iOS update does, minus the crash detection bit. Otherwise, a piece from iDownload blog says it has the same iCloud and Siri fixes as its iPhone-centric counterpart. Now, on the surface, macOS Ventura 13.2.1 does not seem to do a lot. A piece from iDownload blog says it brings important bug fixes and security updates for your Mac. It turns out, though, the security fixes for the 3 operating systems mentioned so far are kind of a big deal. A piece from Mac Rumors says the fixes in the iOS, iPadOS, and macOS updates fix one security problem that may already be a target of ne'er-do-wells. According to Apple security notes, according to Mac Rumors, the software fixes a WebKit issue that could allow maliciously crafted web content to result in arbitrary code execution. Apple says that it is aware of a report that this issue may have been actively exploited. So you'll probably want to jump on those updates unless you are heavy into the Google Photos app. Yet another piece from Mac Rumors says the iOS 16.3.1 update spent the day borking Google Photos on iPhone and iPad. Anyway, that is the word from people on the street. The piece has multiple reports on social media complain about the issue, which The Verge also highlighted. It appears that the Google Photos app is crashing instantly when iPhone and iPad users attempt to open it after upgrading to the latest software. So you want to be safe from a vulnerability that appears to be under active exploit. At the same time, you want to access your photos in Google Photos. I guess you'll have to decide which weighs more. Mac Rumor says there is no word on when the problem will be fixed, and whether a fix requires an update to the Google Photos app or can be done server-side. HomePods new and old, big and small got update love on Monday. Again, we turn to Mac Rumors, which had Apple releasing HomePod software 16.3.2. According to Apple, this update addresses an issue where asking Siri for smart home requests may fail, and also includes general performance and stability improvements. Rounding out the updates, there is little info available on the watchOS 9.3.1 update, nor on tvOS 16.3.2. One piece from Mac Rumors says the former includes bug fixes and important security updates, while a piece on the latter says even less. While Apple had apparently said nothing about the update by the time Mac Rumors wrote about it, a visit to the tvOS support doc had the company saying that tvOS 16.3.2 includes general performance and stability improvements. And what of their security side? Well, it's hard to say whether the tvOS update will have any, though there is no reference to security in Apple's tiny note. While the watchOS note does mention a security fix or fixes, such fixes were not up on Apple's security update site as of this recording. And finally today, if you are wanting to get chatty with Bing on your iPhone, your chance is apparently coming soon. Last week, Microsoft announced the planned integration of some ChatGPT functionality into the Edge browser, as well as the Bing search engine. That announcement was followed by a wait list, which seems to have started moving. While the first users are getting access to the capability, it is currently traditional computer only, it seems. The piece from 9 to 5 Mac has Mr. Softy indicating that support for iOS and Android is not ready yet. But, go ahead and go mobile anyway. The piece quotes the company's message to early adopters saying, "We don't have a mobile experience ready yet. We are actively working on it and will have it ready soon. Until then, please continue to use the new Bing on desktop and download the Bing app from your favorite app store to ensure you are ready for the best experience when mobile is ready." Of course, lots of people are already there. 9 to 5 Mac points out that last week's AI announcement sent Microsoft's iOS apps straight to the top of Apple's App Store. Might sound like a bait and switch, though could actually be a way for Mr. Softy to gauge interest and reward those who are interested. According to the report, Microsoft is allegedly giving users who downloaded the Bing app or set Bing as their search default on a PC priority, and interest does seem to be strong. The Redmond crew has said that millions of people in waiting will be admitted to the functionality over the next few weeks. Today on the Mac Observer's Daily Observations podcast, TMO Managing Editor Jeff Butts and I will hit a couple of points in Apple's Monday updates, plus why it is way too early to talk about Apple going for the rights to the NBA. That is all today on the Daily Observations podcast from the Mac Observer, online at macobserver.com or wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.